Hello everyone, how are you doing today? How is your day going? Welcome back to school, welcome to the first semester, and welcome to the first class of English communication class. Yeah, our first topic is about jobs and occupations. So, today we will talk about jobs, the things you might do in the future. We will talk about job descriptions. We will talk about what are the responsibilities of each job. We will talk about, yeah, all the details about jobs, and then we will do some interviews. We will do job interviews. Yeah, if you apply for a job, then like what kind of questions you might face or how would you answer the questions. We will do all that. So, first things first, when we are actually in the class, first we will start with writing out all the jobs that you might know. Yeah, we will put some jobs on the board and to see what jobs you know, what jobs you don't know. So after that activity, I'll introduce you some jobs. First, let's take a look at the jobs, right? We will start with this one, surgeon. Surgeon. Do you know what a surgeon do? Where does a surgeon work? Right? So a surgeon works in a hospital, right? Works in a hospital and it does surgeries. So surgeon is a very well-paid job. How about this one? Astronomer. Have you ever heard of this one? Astronomer. What does an astronomer do? And where does he or she work? They usually work in a laboratory, right? And they are scientists who watch the sky, study the stars. And then we got optician. Optician. What does an optician do? When you have eye problems, or if you cannot see the far or close, then you will go to see the optician, right? And talk about the options. You might get a glass or lenses or some eye drops, maybe. Next, we got architect. Architect. What does an architect do? Architects plan the building, right? How to build the building, the interior design, and the rooms. Where will each room be? Where will be the stairs? They design all that, right? And then we got computer programmer. What does a computer programmer do? In the future, I might expect a lot of you to become computer programmers, right? Because this job is getting more and more important every day. And then we got director. What does a director do? Director directs movies, right? It's an exciting job. And makeup artist. Makeup artist. This job is on the rise, right? If you are really good at putting on makeup on other people, then you might get paid well with this job. Then reporter, right? They report news. We got photographer. If you have some photography skills, if you can take good pictures, then you might become a photographer. Yeah. Then we got plumber. Plumber. You don't need to go to a university to be a plumber. Yeah. And we got miner, people who work in the mines, digging, fighter pilot. If you work for the army, right? This is also a great job. Got sailor work on the sea, right? Or the oceans. And then we got soldier, again, another army job. Tour guide. In Thailand, there are a lot of tour guides, right? Because so many people visit Thailand every year. So tour guide is a great job. Then maid, a person who cleans the house or maybe the office, yeah. And then we got office workers, people who work in the offices, right? Office worker, businessman or businesswoman. Then pharmacist or chemist. Well, pharmacists work in the pharmacy, right? They will give you drugs when you get sick. You go to the pharmacy to buy drugs. Yeah. Hairdresser. Hairdresser, again, another job that is close to makeup artist, right? Hairdresser. Barber. So hairdresser is for women mostly, barber is for men, right? Taxi driver. A lot of taxi drivers, yeah, in Thailand. A lot of angry taxi drivers sometimes. Musician, if you're good with music, singing or playing an instrument, or if you're creative musically, then you can become a musician, right? So a great career. And then flight attendant. This job is really attractive for mostly females, right? The girls would like to become flight attendant. It could be a good job or bad job depending on what you're looking for. Yeah. And then mechanic or car mechanic. Again, this job is difficult. Yeah, you need to know a lot about cars or motorcycles. And then we got a sports job, football player. Football player, if you're good with football or soccer. Then astronaut. Oh, I think this is the top job, yeah? To becoming an astronaut, you'll work in the space. Cashier is another one, cashier. And then butcher. Butcher sells meat. Right? Waiters. Waiter or waitress. Right? Waiter, waitress, male and female, works in a restaurant, or people also call it server. Farmer, farmer. A judge. A judge works in the court. Builder. Builder. Building buildings. Baker. Baker. If you have some talent baking cakes, bread. And nurse, another hospital job. So far we saw surgeon and doctor, and this is nurse. Yeah. Pilot. How about that? Pilot. This is a good job, yeah. We'll be working on the plane in the sky, flying all the time. And then we got artist. Artist. For those of you who are creative and who can draw well or who can paint well, then you could become an artist. Vet. Vet is a doctor for animals, right? Animal doctor. Got postman. His job is disappearing, right? Because now people use internet for letters or news. So scientist, another great job. If you become a good, well-known scientist, you'll be very popular, yeah, famous. And the list goes on. So in the class, we will take a look at all of these jobs. Now let's move on to the other activity. Then we will do acting out, right? Act out activity where you will get a card, right? I'll give you a card with job names. You will get the card and then you need to describe it. No, not describe it. You will act it out, right? Like no speaking, just act out. Act out, and the whole class will try to guess your job, right? You would act out as if you are that person that's on your card, and then other people will try to guess. And then we got Kahoot. We will play Kahoot. Let's see. We will play Kahoot. And then, okay, Kahoot.it. Yeah, the whole class will join and we will do some practice.
What am I going to do when I grow up? I wonder what I will be.
Alright, yeah, this will be the pin. Well, we will play it in the class, right? When we are actually doing the class. This will be kind of vocabulary review. You would see some pictures or some descriptions. We will do Kahoot. And then, yeah, not now. And then we will move on to our next activity, which will be the opposite of acting out. In acting out, you had a card with a job name, right? And then you act out, you don't speak. But in this one, you need to speak. You're not allowed to act out. We will get some volunteers in front of the class, and then I will hand you out the small piece of papers with jobs on it, and then you need to describe it. This time you cannot act it out. You need to describe, you need to use words. For example, if you get scientist, how would you describe it? You could say this person is really good at chemistry, biology, and physics, and he works in a laboratory, right? Einstein or Stephen Hawking, they are the famous ones from this job. Or if you get, for example, let's get a random one. Car mechanic, right? How could you describe a car mechanic? This person fixes cars, you could say, right? Easily. Or if you get, for example, businessman, how could you describe businessman? You could say this person doesn't work 9 to 5, right? He usually dresses in suit and maybe he has his own company. This person travels a lot, right? He likes to do business. Or let's get another one. Another one like photographer. Let's take a photographer. This person is expert, pro at taking photos, right? So he takes photos for living. He has his camera and he knows some good angles to take some great photos. Or reporter. This person is on TV. You could see him or her on TV or on YouTube, and he talks about news or she talks about news all the time, right? Then the reporter. Yeah, and so on. We would describe all these. Then I will give you 1 minute. So, like, how many words can you do in 1 minute, right? Just talking, no acting. And there will be some words that you cannot use to make it more complicated. For example, it's very easy, right? You would say, like, if you cannot see far, then you go to this person. But we will make it difficult. In the piece of paper that I give you, there will be some words that you cannot use. So maybe see will be one of those words. You cannot use see or I. So how can you describe it without using see or I? Yeah. All right. After that, we have some speaking questions, right? We will talk about these questions in class, in pairs, or in groups. So let's take a look at some examples here. For example, what are some of the best or worst jobs that you can think of? The best and worst jobs you can think of. Yeah. Well, for the best job, maybe you can put pilot. So for the worst job, you can put a car mechanic. But then you need to explain why, right? Why? Why is mechanic the worst job? Or why is pilot the best job? You need to give us some examples. And then, well, there are a lot of questions, but let's take a look at this one. What company is the best to work for? So out of all these companies, what companies are the best to work for? Is it Apple? Is it Samsung? Or is it SCB Bank? Or is it Prasan Mid School? Or is it some university? Or is it the government, becoming a minister? So what company is the best to work for? We'll do that. And the other questions, right? For example, what are the advantages and disadvantages of being a student? So we will discuss about that. What can you say about the advantages of being a student? What could you say about the disadvantages of being a student? And then we will have a mock job interview, right? We will work in peers, two students. One person will be hiring and another would be looking for a job. So somebody is looking for a job and other one is looking for an employee, right? They don't have enough employees, so they want to hire somebody else, hire another person to the company. So what we will do is we will write down some questions, right? What questions would you ask in an interview if you are the hiring person, and how would you convince the interviewer if you want to work in that company? So that would be the person who is looking for a job, right? You need to think about the things you can do. You need to think about some of your strengths and some things that you can say that would make you look good in a job interview, right? So, yeah, we will get ready for a job interview. We'll do mock job interview and you'll talk about your qualifications or your strengths. Maybe you wake up early or maybe you are really dedicated. And if you have some weakness, then how can you make it sound good, right? If you, for example, wake up late, you cannot say I wake up late, right? Or I like waking up late or I like sleeping. You need to put it in words that it will make it sound better, right? Maybe you can say I like waking up late, but these days I am working on it. I'm trying to wake up early and soon I will start waking up early, right? Like something like that. You need to make it sound better. Yeah. And lastly, this will be the assignment. You need to prepare a presentation. The presentation will be called My Dream Job. Right? What job would you like to do in the future? What is your dream job? You will talk about your dream job. Why do you want to do it? Right? And then you need to add as many details as possible in the presentations, like how much salary do you expect, and what would be your duties, responsibilities, how many hours a day would you like to work, or the other benefits that you expect from the company, right? So, my dream job, you'll talk about your dream job and why do you want to do that job. The presentations would be 1 to 2 minutes, right? Individually. So everyone has a different job, right? Everyone have different dream jobs. So everyone would be doing a different presentation. And that's it for jobs and occupations, basically. Thank you for your time and see you in the presentation week. Yeah. All right, then. Bye bye.